First exercise we have here is the dumbbell shoulder press. So first set here, 8 reps. Just trying to go as heavy as possible for those 8 reps. Try to maintain good form. And after this, I will superset this exercise with easy bar tricep extensions. And just trying to get a good stretch here. So this exercise, I do it a little bit differently than the standard way of doing it. What I do is when I get to the bottom portion of the rep, I will roll the weight forward. However, I don't press the weight up when I'm trying to press it back up. I extend my forearms forward in order to get that contraction in that certain part of the tricep, which is the medial head, I think. So again, shoulder press, sticking with 70-pound dumbbells here. I could go a little bit heavier to 80s, but I just feel like my neck gets a little bit irritated, and the goal is not to injure myself. The goal is to maximize muscle mass. So 8 reps here, slow and controlled, no certain tempo, just a standard tempo. Again, easy bar extension, tricep extensions. So I know it looks a little weird, but this really, you do feel burn in the medial head of the tricep, definitely. And the medial head and the long head primarily. So I think that weight was a little too heavy for me. Again, dumbbell shoulder press, 8 reps. And when I do these, I really have to warm up beforehand, because you could really irritate your shoulder. It's very easy to irritate your shoulder to begin with. So I would suggest warming up for about 10 to 15 minutes beforehand, and do stuff that's shoulder related to warm it up properly. Don't go on the treadmill and do cardio. Yeah, I mean, you're getting blood flow through your body, but that doesn't mean you're getting blood flow in that area and you're not stretching out that area. So yeah, I would do that if I were you. I lowered the weight here a little bit for the tricep extensions. I mean, a lot of people would argue it's not the correct way of doing it, but I definitely feel it a lot more. I definitely feel it in my long head more. And that's definitely the goal of the exercise. So this was I think my last set here, and it couldn't even get the 8 reps. So I had to drop the weight a little bit, and I don't even think with the 50s I could get the number of reps that were desired. So that was that last set, completely wiped out. And I went to 8 reps, and by the 8th rep I was completely I was pushed to failure pretty much. I didn't have any more left. I probably could have got a couple more, but that wasn't the goal. So next exercise, one arm shoulder raise or lateral raises with the cable machine here. Now, I like these because I really, at any portion of the movement, I pretty much feel tension on my shoulder. With a dumbbell, when the dumbbell's down, I don't feel tension on the shoulder. So I definitely like the cable variation of this more, because you're getting more out of it without even having you don't have to do too much weight, because there's constant tension, and definitely it will give you good results. Next here we have tricep press downs. I think we went 8 to 10 reps here, roughly. And I mean, definitely just make sure, I think here I was doing a 3-second negative, I believe 2 to 3 second negative. So make sure when you're doing that negative, you're counting it in your head. You're 3, 2, 1, and then next rep, 3, 2, 2, and then so on. Here I had probably a 1 no, a 2-second negative too. So I'm trying to make sure I'm counting. And when I'm counting the tempo, just like I said before, try to count it in the way you're going to remember it, because it's so easy during the middle of the set to forget the number of reps you're at. So make sure you have a certain way to count the tempo so you remember the number of reps as well. So yeah, did both shoulders here one at a time. And yeah, just trying to bring up that lateral head a lot more, that side part of the shoulder, because I clearly don't have that much definition in that area, and so do a lot of people. A lot of people have their front delts are more developed than their like rear delts or side delts. So definitely focus on bringing up your side delts and your rear delts. You know, if you have to train them twice a week if you need to, if they're that weak, maybe even 3. But if you're training them 3 times a week, then you need to ask yourself, okay, maybe I'm doing something wrong because I'm not seeing results. So maybe I'm doing something wrong and I need to change it up. That could be anything like the form, tempo, too much weight. It depends. So just play around with it, see what happens. So yeah, I think we're 3rd or 4th set here, and definitely starting to feel tired, starting to reach failure a lot more. Yeah, so it's getting a lot tougher. Usually when I do the first set of an exercise and I'm playing around with the weight, the first set I won't go as heavy as possible. I usually, and that's not counting the warm-up sets. This is without the warm-up sets. I will play around with the weight, go a little bit lighter, see how it feels, and if I feel good, I'll bump it up. And on my last, also the intensity increases. Of course, each set, by the way, should be intense. However, the intensity can go up little by little each set. You don't have to go intense on the first one. So by the last set, you should be really giving it 110%. Like, you have nothing left. You're barely getting the desired number of reps. Like, with that weight, of course, that you're trying to, work with. So, yeah, definitely just try to push yourself as hard as possible, for sure. So I think this was our last set. By the way, I noticed I'm making a bunch of crazy faces. I don't even notice it when I'm working out, so it's just, I just don't know. I don't know why I do that, but that's how you know you're working out hard, I guess, right? But yeah, so that last set, I wasn't even following the tempo, so definitely got to look back on that and make sure I don't do that again. So yeah, this last set for the tricep pushdowns, we went pretty heavy. I think this is close to 130 pounds. Yeah, I mean, I was really pushing hard through this. And if you're gonna do this workout, you have to give it, of course, if you're a beginner, by the way, you shouldn't do this much volume. I think you could cut back on the volume a little bit. So you don't need all the negatives, all the amount of sets that are there. Maybe even cut back on the reps. Because as a beginner, you don't need that much to stimulate muscle, because it's kind of already a shock to the muscle when you just start to work out. So next thing here we had the rear delt flies, just pumping those out. And we have the V-bar tricep pushdown extension. Now, these really just pumping them out, standard tempo. By this time of the workout, I don't have a certain tempo, because I know I'm not going to be able to maintain it. I won't even get to, I'll fail quickly, and I won't get the desired number of reps. So I'll just keep it a standard tempo here. I won't do anything crazy with that. So back to the rear delt flies. Definitely trying to focus on my rear delts more. Just, they're non-existent. So definitely got to put more work into that. Got some nice little camera shots there. But yeah, just definitely trying to pump those out. And yeah, that was the end of that set. So yeah, like I said, standard tempo here, nothing crazy. Just as long as you maintain good form, you should be fine. And as long as you're using the desired muscle, you'll be fine. I mean, you're gonna feel it for sure. Don't try to use too much momentum. I try not to use too much momentum, because then it takes away the work that's being placed on that certain muscle group. So I try to use that desired muscle group as much as possible, so I could get maximum results. Alright, so next we have seated lateral raises. I didn't like this machine to begin with, but it's starting to really grow on me, and definitely it's delivering good results. So we have 8 reps here, 2 to 3 second negative, really trying to focus on the negative. And next here we have a seated tricep extension. Really underrated exercise. A lot of people don't do this one. It also works on that long head of the tricep. They also have like a 2 second negative here, 8 to 10 reps. And yeah, by this time of the workout, I'm just gassed. I'm giving it my all. So make sure when you're going into the workout, you're really just giving 100%. You know, you don't want to do a session and just, do 60%, because you're not going to get the results you want if you do that. Unless if you're a beginner, of course, you could get away with that for a while, but after that, you have to up the intensity. So here's where it started to really get hard. I had to really use a lot of leg drive to, believe it or not, actually a lot of leg drive to create a bit of momentum to push the weight down, which is obviously the opposite of what I said before, but by the few reps at the end, you could do that. It doesn't, you don't have, not every rep has to be, picture perfect. Of course, you could, let go on the form a little bit. However, the form should still be relatively, decent. You don't want to completely start, over engaging other muscle groups, and it's a way of actually getting injured, so you don't want to do that. And and then the last thing we had here was calf raises, and we finished 4 sets. We did 4 sets. I do them about 3 times a week. Really push them to failure, because calves are a weak point for me, and I definitely need to grow them a lot, to be in proportion with the rest of my body. So yeah, definitely try to do as much as possible with that. And yeah, that's it. Finished off the calf raises and we were done. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.